It was a big format magazine. It was all the story of my life, how a 14-year-old comes to New York and gets started. And that went around the world. Look magazine was like Time magazine. And I became famous all around the world at 14.
Oh my God.
So she took me at 15 to Paris to do the French collections. Female lead against with these top male actors, and it was Peter Bogdanovich was the director who had done Paper Moon and Last Picture Show.
Wow.
And I just thought, well, God, that was a great offer. So I did that, and I was a success. They loved me, and they offered me a contract with Columbia. And I think it's really important as you're growing up to have activity that you love. Like I had ballet, and that gave me power, it gave me focus, it gave me drive. I was ambitious, I wanted to be the best, and that kind of energy and that kind of focus propels you to whatever it is.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to If My Life Was a Movie. Today we discover the extraordinary journey of Jane Hitchcock, whose modeling career began at the age of 14 with a scholarship to Ballet School for the New York City Ballet. From hair gracing the pages of Vogue to starring in the TV and film, her legacy spans industries. Now, at the forefront of a movement celebrating ageless beauty, she continues to inspire women worldwide. So join us as we unreveal the remarkable story of Jane Hitchcock, hoping to inspire you to take the first step and get closer to your dreams. Jane, welcome to If My Life Was a Movie. I'm so happy to have you today. How are you?
It's my pleasure to be here, Baz.
Super nice to have you. So before we start in asking you questions, I want to express and share something with you, which is really important because I remember myself when being back in Greece. I grew up in a small town. Mm-hmm. Long story short, later on my early 20s, I joined a modeling school. And it's called Christie Models in Athens.
Oh.
So we were learning about image improvement, modeling, and so going back in time, looking in the history of models and top models. And I remember scrolling the magazines and seeing you.
No.
Yeah, with Naomi, Campbell, Cindy Crawford, all these beautiful jobs. So I've never even thought that I will ever be able to meet you in person and be able to speak to you. So this is very meaningful to me, and I really, really want to thank you for being here.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. So your journey started at a very young age, receiving a scholarship to New York City, right? At the age about of 14.
Yeah.
How did your early experience as a dancer back in the 70s prepare you to become a top model and work with so many famous people? How did that happen?
Well, I think ballet particularly is about performing. And modeling is really about performing. It's like acting, it's basically. And my ballet career gave me the training to understand the movement of my body so that when I posed, I could know where my body was, the shape I was making, because it was also about graphics very much in that day, the 60s, 70s. And also, I was in a Birmingham Civic Ballet at the age of 12. And I learned theatrical makeup and theatrical hair, put eyelashes and I love that. And I just love makeup and I just love doing hair. And I love posing and dreaming and pretending.
And then what happened? From the scholarship, what happened? You walked on the street, somebody saw you? Because at the time we didn't have social media and stuff, right?
No.
How did you become this supermodel?
Yeah, photographers used to stop me on the street and say, oh, you should be a model. Of course, I walk like a ballerina, so when they saw me crossing 57th Street in New York, I stood out like a vision, because I just walked like a ballerina. And I carried myself, and I looked older than my age. I always looked older. I could pass for 18.
And what was it like being a supermodel back at this time? Because there was no social media. We only had newspapers and TV.
Yeah.
What was like being a supermodel traveling to all these different countries? And most likely you didn't even realize how popular you are because today we see social media, we see Instagram, we see YouTube. At the time, working such a young age, over the age of 14 and so on, it took you so many years in your career. What was the best moment at the time? Anything that you remember that when you go back to time, you want to share something about it?
Well, I really loved modeling. I loved everything about it. And I was taken at 15 to Paris with Wilhelmina, who was my agent, who had been a top model in the world. She had had hundreds of Vogue covers, and she had retired and started her own agency. So that's really where she took me. I was her 5th model. And because she was just starting, she put a lot into me. She did publicity with me, and I had a 5-page spread in Look magazine, which is kind of like Life magazine. Probably people today don't know it. It was a big format magazine. It was all the story of my life, how a 14-year-old comes to New York and gets started. Wow. And that went around the world. Look magazine was like Time magazine. And I became famous all around the world at 14.
Oh my God.
So she took me at 15 to Paris to do the French collections. And we stayed with Dovima, who was also one of the most famous models ever, more from the 50s, who also retired and started an agency. So anyway, that was very exciting at 15 to go to Paris.
I can't even imagine how you accept all of this and how it unfold everything, because a lot of the kids today at the age of 15, it's a very different lifestyle. So having all this fame and all this power, being on the cover of magazines and traveling all around the world must be very overwhelming.
It was just fun. I mean, I just lived the life, enjoyed the life, and every moment was just great for me.
Fantastic.
I mean, at the French collections, I worked for Guy Bourdin for French Vogue, he's one of the top photographers in the world at that time. And David Bailey, I got a cover for Elle magazine at 15 with David Bailey. That was very impressive. And after, we'd shoot till like 5 a.m. because the clothes were on the runway during the day. So we had to work very late at night. And then like at 5 a.m. we'd leave and we'd go to La Coupole, to the famous restaurant where everybody went after hours and hung out. Or we'd go to Les Halles, the meat market, and we'd have French onion soup. And it was just very exciting. I loved it. And I was out,
You was already out. So getting into the modeling, of course, you've done a huge career, right? Did you had any, basically, who have been your biggest mentors or influences in your career? And what key lessons did they teach you?
Oh, well, both Wilhelmina and Eileen Ford, who I later went to, were very strict. They had principles, and it was a business, and we had to be professional. We had to be on time. When I first started, I had 5 wigs. I had to carry 5 wigs and electric rollers with me. And when I got there, I had to roll my hair up in the electric rollers, do my wig, do my makeup. And then we had those single eyelashes, the twiggy look and everything. And you were, and the more professional you were, and they stressed that. And then, of course, they also kept everybody else in the business professional. If anything got back to one of them, that one of the photographers had stepped out of line, boy, they had their heads cut off. So it was a good, solid business. It was a real business. I don't know much about what it's like today, but I knew.
At the time, it was really, and so everyone was so professional, so important to be dedicated, be on time.
Yes.
How did you deal with the competition? Because in today's days, there's so many models all around the world.
Yeah, there were probably only 200 models in New York. And I was like in the top 10. I became an instant success overnight at 14, like everybody. And I started working with Avedon for American Vogue and all the teenage magazines as well. And all the cosmetic companies, Revlon and Maybelline,
massive
Estee Lauder. I was doing everything. I was really, and it was great. And I love it. And in those days, even when I did a big cosmetic ad, like for Clinique, I did my own makeup and hair
On the shoot?
on the
And
shoot.
they accepted that?
Yes, all my jobs. I used to work with Evan, the most famous photographer in the world, and we'd do an ad for Almay or something, and I'd be in there doing all my makeup. I was really good at makeup. I used to teach the makeup artists to become makeup artists, the hairdressers, because we did have hairdressers sometimes. And of course, they wanted to become makeup artists too. And it was better for the business, one person, and, doing everything. And they used to learn from me, and I used to teach the other models. I just loved.
Did you learn makeup as well? You mentioned earlier that you've learned.
Yeah. I had learned makeup already when I was in the ballet company. Okay. They taught me professional makeup. Yeah, at one point, and then I had another photographer at 15, and we were working for Harper's Bazaar.
Yeah, my favorite magazine.
Which is really out there. And I could do like rainbows on my eyes. I had makeup kits, like with all the theatrical makeup and all the colors, and I'd get them out and I'd play in it. Put yellow and orange.
So creative.
And I brushed my eyebrows up, and I did, Yeah, I was my own boss. I was me doing my thing, and they liked that,
That's great. So then after modeling, you transitioned to acting, right? Appearing in films like Nickelodeon in 1976 and See Chinese and Die in 1981, which is a great movie. And after that also, a Colombian studio even offered you a contract to be a James Bond girl, but you declined. How did that navigate in transitioning into acting? How did that happen?
Well, actually, I wanted to be an actress.
Okay.
And lots of the top models around me were all getting big parts. And they were like looking at models to start new actresses, like Kim Basinger. We used to work together all the time. And they got her. She was fantastic. And also, wait a second. Okay. Sybil Shepherd. Sybil Shepherd, we used to work together all the time. Who else? Oh, Andy Dow, all the girls then became.
These are massive, important people in the industry.
These are massive.
Massive.
Yeah.
And you had the chance to work with them. So what?
So I
went in the movies. And
I said I only wanted to do something that reflected well on women. That's the thing. I turned down a couple of films, like Lipstick, because the model got a knife in her eye, and I just didn't want to have that image of myself. Mm-hmm. And then at the early days, the James Bond, they were just like kind of
too sensual,
too just ridiculous. I just didn't think that was a good image for women to want, So this film came along, and it was a comedy, which was perfect.
Yeah.
And actually, it happened to be with the two biggest male stars in the world.
Which are?
Burt Reynolds, who was the highest paid actor in the world. And,
you forget his name.
Ryan O'Neal, who had just become very famous. This is early before a lot of people went and watching my,
So you collaborated with all these.
I was the female lead with these top male actors, and it was Peter Bogdanovich was the director who had done Paper Moon and Last Picture Show.
Wow.
And I just thought, well, God, that was a great offer. So I did that, and I was a success. They loved me, and they offered me a contract with Columbia, and they wanted to make me a star, and blah, blah, blah.
Had it all unfold, and you became who you became, and on your journey is just so massively and beautifully, and you've done so many important things. And now I really wanted to ask you, looking back, is there anything that you would like to change or say to your younger selves, and how this experience shaped you, and what are your plans for the future? If you could go back in time, is there anything that you would like to say to your younger self?
Listen to your mother.
Listen to your mother.
Nah. Yeah, there was one thing she was right about.
Oh, would you like to share?
Very rebellious. Yeah. I was so happy to get out of my home, and fly off to New York and have fun and play and make money and travel.
Of course.
You know. So,
So what was she wanted you to do that you didn't listen to? Would you like to share?
Not really.
No? Okay, no problem.
You know, probably marry something like a doctor or a lawyer or something, but I don't want to go there.
No, of course, she wanted you to have a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
I can understand.
She wanted, but I just wanted to be free.
And freedom is so important, and that's what we are embracing here, you know, freedom, imperfections, and love, and passions, and you've done pretty much so well by not listening to your mother, so...
Yeah, and in fact, the funny thing is, my brother, who is... my brother, who did army tours and then went back and was in the Air Force, he was an nautical engineer. And he took a government job as an engineer. He worked on some good projects. Anyway, at like 70, he said to me, "Oh, I so admire how you lived your life." Because he had stayed rooted in this job for security. And I was just, you know, running around here and moving there and, you know, just... And
having a very different lifestyle. He's been in army, so you were a top model, so that was a big contradiction between two of you.
But he actually admired my freedom in the end. And in the when I was younger, you know, I was considered a bit wayward. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, and so that was interesting that he admired my life. And I'd not lived by any conventional, you know.
You were so powerful. I mean, at the age of 14, you became a supermodel. So
Yeah.
I feel like for you, it would have been very difficult someone to control. Like you say, you were very rebellious, but also super powerful and strong and knew what you wanted to do. So nothing else mattered to you. That's how I feel. And,
Yeah.
and to be honest, that's really resonating with me because that's how I am. And I love to hear that. But, and that's how we need to be in life, right? We need to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
It's important to listen to others and stuff. Yes. But at the end of the day, it's our life, right?
Yeah.
So well done.
Oh,
well done to you. Now, I really want to ask you, can you share with us a little bit of your what are you working currently on and your plans for the future? And additionally, what message would you like to share with the young generation out there to aspire and follow their footsteps and find their own paths and make their own dreams to come true?
Well, I think it's really important as you're growing up to have activity that you love. Like I had ballet, and that gave me power, it gave me focus, it gave me drive. I was ambitious, I wanted to be the best, you know, and that kind of energy and that kind of focus propels you to whatever it is. I mean, I could have been in the ballet company in New York City Ballet and been a prima ballerina, but I had that spark from having that energy of that ambition and that focus. So I really think it's important for children to have something, whether it's music or sport or...
to practice any art or any sport in order for them to be able to find what they're truly looking for. Is that what you mean?
Yes, but also to learn about discipline. I mean, that was very disciplined ballet. I mean, that's hard work. I mean, I did 5 hours a day in the end. And
also modeling, it requires a lot of hard work and discipline and being able to be on time and being able to be
yes,
in the time and you know, working with teams, working with so many different people, being able to understand what the photographer needs and what image you need to get out there. I think it's pretty complicated job, especially when you have to travel all around the world. So someone like you who's been a top model and for so long, I feel like that's it.
Discipline is really important. I mean, I hear about some of the girls today that arrive and, you know, they don't have the right lingerie. You need like a nude lingerie so it doesn't disturb the clothing, or, you know, they haven't shaved their legs, or...
Such an important little things that
you know what I
don't
mean?
pay
Like,
attention to, yeah.
their hair is not clean or whatever, you know. It's easy, but I don't know what. They don't have the training. I had Wilhelmina, I had Eileen, and I loved it, and I wanted to be my best. I mean, it's fun.
Thank you very much, Jane, for today, for sharing your beautiful story, for inspiring others and leaving your message out there for everyone, no matter where they are from, what's their race or their background or their age. I think your story is a proof to everyone that if you put something in your mind, if you really practicing whatever it is that you practice, that is
the best thing in the world to lead you on to something else, to open doors, to open you.
To open you. So I really want to thank you for being part of my show. And just before we wrap up, would you like to share something to the audience? Would you like to give a positive message out there? Is there anything that you want to share?
I think to be focused is very important. When you are focused, you give out that energy, you're putting it out, and it's creating it. And thought creates energy, and energy makes movement, and you affect people. People feel you differently, and your focus is because you love it, not because because you love it, because it excites your imagination, and then you feel alive when you're thinking to do that kind of thing. And
being focused on whatever it is that you love to do, and basically do it for the sake of love.
Yes.
And not for the sake of being known or whatever other reasons are there. So basically put the love out there, put the work, and stay focused.
Yeah, put the love in the work. The work has to be love. Your life is going to be miserable if you don't love what you do.
Thank you very much for today. I really appreciate your I
know you. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on If My Life Was a Movie. Today, we have explored the incredible journey of Jane Hitchcock from ballet scholarships to modeling stardom. Her story really reminds us of how to embrace our dreams and pursue them fearlessly. So, let's Jane's journey inspire you to take the first step towards your own aspirations. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on my next episode.